My name is Chris Connor. I'm the president of Franchise Marketing Systems. We are a franchise development and consulting company. We help businesses look at the idea of franchising. We help them prepare their business model for franchising, and we actually execute franchise development programs. We help companies do this. A lot of the conversations that I have with business owners is looking at whether the idea of franchising is good, could be a good way for them to grow, and also what they need to do to prepare their company to get ready to franchise their business. And the first thing that I recommend looking at to any business owner considering the idea of franchising your company is, number one, figure out what your goals, your aspirations, and your vision is for your brand first. Sometimes your goals might not align with what franchising can and will do for your company. For example, a franchise development model usually will take a minimum of 5 years to turn into anything significant. And if your goal is to do something shorter than that, it might not be a fit. Franchising is also a business model that is entirely built around helping other people become successful as entrepreneurs. There's a lot of coaching, there's a lot of mentorship, there's a lot of time and energy that goes into developing new business owners. You have to be prepared to do that as an entrepreneur. And some entrepreneurs that I've worked with, that's not their skill set. They're not interested in that responsibility that comes with it. Franchising also is a business that requires a great deal of systems and structure and organization. And if you think about it, it makes sense. We're helping a new owner who, in most cases, most franchisees have not been in the business that they're buying into at any point in their career. They bought the franchise because they're hoping the franchisor will teach them. They'll give them the operating model and the program and the blueprint and the playbook, everything they need to be able to be successful in as short of a time period as possible. So the next thing I would recommend looking at in order to prepare your business for franchising is make sure you have good documentation. The more you have on paper, the more you have organized, laid out, and structured, the easier it will be to pass your knowledge and your intellectual property to a new owner. Good training manuals, good operating documentation. If we're a company that does direct selling door to door, let's make sure our sales scripts are organized. Let's get those videoed. Let's do role playing. Let's have all of our collateral materials laid out and our structured process for selling that product organized, defined, and validated. If we're a restaurant, let's make sure that our front of house and back of house are organized and everything's been planned and as efficiently put together as we possibly can. The new franchisee will come into this business and in most cases be kind of a clean slate. They won't bring any experience, any prior experience to this relationship. They're dependent on you to give that to them. They need to bring the hard work. They need to execute. You should be able to give them the formula. The next thing that I would look at in preparing your business to franchise would be the technology and the systems that you have in place. In today's business world, there's really technology for every part of running any business, whether it be a good POS system, a good CRM, automated social media marketing, good loyalty marketing programs. All of these things can be defined, operated, and managed by software solutions. You need to have these things in place so that you can replicate the results you've had at your corporate location with a new franchisee. It's part of what franchise buyers expect. Then I would start to look at your financial model. In franchising, a good franchise system will show a franchisee how they can get a return on investment in somewhere between 2 years if it's a service model and 3 years if it's a model that has a fixed location. So we need to be able to show a model that has a reasonable initial investment and has high enough margins to account for a royalty, to account for a marketing fund, to account for a franchise fee, all these fees that they would pay you as part of the franchise relationship, and still see that kind of return on investment that will make us attractive and compelling and exciting to the franchise market. If we don't have that foundation in place, then what are we selling? The franchise model is all about replicating success and giving a franchisee an opportunity not only to earn a good living, but also to see a good return on the money they put into this business. The next piece I would start digging into is, how does your brand present? There are so many great businesses out there that have maybe a homemade website, for example, something that you did not necessarily put all of the investment and time and energy into that you could have, but it does the trick and it works. It works fine for the consumer side of the business. But when we begin to sell franchises, now the franchisee will look at every element of our brand. They will be critical of how we present. They'll be critical of what our messaging is, our mission statement, our brand color scheme, the quality and professionalism of our web presentation, our social media presentation, all the physical presentation, our signage on the stores, interior design and layout. All these things now become absolutely critical, not only in how the business performs, but also in how a franchisee looks at us. People buy into businesses and brands they trust and they feel comfortable with, that not only we know what we're doing, but that our brand means something and it has an impact and it's valuable, and that's part of why they make the decision to invest with us. We need to look at every part of our business, every part of our brand, make sure that it is clean, professional, well organized, and structured to justify someone making an investment into our company. The next thing that I would look into is, most of the great franchise systems that we've worked with, they had some innate ability to reach out to a broader market of people. Maybe they were looked to as a credible resource as a business coach. Maybe they're looked to as a social media personality, and they had a following, they had an impact on a larger number of people. The faster we can begin to put our name, get some recognition, begin to build credibility with people out in the market, the easier it is to get those first 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 franchisees into the system. The better we can be at connecting with people out in the market, the easier it will be to pull in those first buyers. And those are generally the toughest ones to sell, is to get those first few, because we don't have the validation in place yet to prove that this model really is a great system. When we first start out, the owner is a lot of what makes the business tick and really run and work. The faster we can prove that this business model has a system, we've got an operating platform, and it's not just the owner who makes it successful, the easier it is to get to that critical mass and start seeing really, really efficient and effective franchise recruitment. The last part that I would begin to get ready for is, franchising is absolutely a sales and marketing game. Get comfortable with the idea that when you make the move into franchising, you now are responsible for convincing people that your vision, your brand, your business, you yourself are someone and something that they should trust and be excited about joining. And if you haven't sold intellectual property before, it's a little bit of a twist, where if you're used to selling a product or you're used to running a restaurant operation, now we have to shift gears and we're not selling the pizza, we're not selling the burger anymore, we're not selling the window covering, we're now selling the intellectual property to someone, the coaching and the mentorship to help them be successful in our business and help them get the support they need to become a successful entrepreneur. In the 20 plus years that I've been in this business, in the franchise business, I am relatively certain that franchising is, if not the most, one of the most effective ways to scale your company. It doesn't mean that it's for everyone, and there's certain businesses that may or may not be a fit for franchising. There's certain people that may or may not be a fit for franchising. But I can tell you that if you are in business, you're interested in growing it, you're trying to find ways to scale your brand, you absolutely need to evaluate the franchise model. It's one of the most prolific ways to scale a brand, retain your equity, and build value, not only for yourself, but for the company as well. My name is Chris Connor with Franchise Marketing Systems. We would love to hear from you. We love to speak with entrepreneurs and business owners and help hopefully answer some of these questions and give you some direction on whether franchising could be a good fit and whether franchising might be a way for you to scale your brand and your business.